Well, hi there, good evening. It is lovely to see you on this first weekend of the month. You're watching EBN Weekend Edition with me, Cynthia Nanjala. We've got quite a lot in store from the President's state visit in Bungoma County, or in western part of the country, where he was launching development projects. He was in Kakamega. We'll also be crossing over to Mombasa, where there's a new healthcare system that has been installed to help residents in service delivery. So this and much more, we've got you covered across all the 47 counties. However, let's take a look at stories making headlines.
Wananchi wengi wameumia kwa sababu ya uzembe na ulaghai na mambo ya ufisadi.
President William Ruto orders for the immediate arrest and prosecution of officials capable of issuing licenses to the Embakasi gas refilling plant that exploded.
All those projects, as the president said yesterday, not a single contractor atatoka kwa site.
Housing levy fund continues to elicit reactions as government says it will proceed despite court order. Post-mortem conducted on Kizito Moi, Senator Boni Khalwale's aide reveals no discrepancies. Government pathologist confirms he succumbed to injuries. Well, watch this broadcast across our social media platforms on EBN TV, as well as live on our website at www.ebntv.co.ke. Let's get this show started. Now, President William Ruto has ordered the dismissal, arrest and detainment of government officials who issued licenses to the gas filling station that exploded in Embakasi on Thursday night. Speaking during the groundbreaking ceremony for Chekalini Market in Lugari, Kakamega County, Ruto explained that the gas filling plant was operational contrary to the law. He added that unscrupulous government officials issued permits to the gas dealer to conduct business in a residential area, hence endangering Kenyans' lives. The president has therefore demanded the dismissal and arrest of the government officials within 24 hours and to face charges leveled against them.
Juzi kumetokea mlipuko wa mambo ya gesi na wananchi wengi wameumia kwa sababu ya uzembe na ulaghai na mambo ya ufisadi ya officers wa serikali. Kuna watu wameenda wakaweka leseni kwa residential area mahali wananchi wanakaa, wanahatarisha maisha ya wananchi. Nimeambia wizara, wale watu ambao wamehusika kutoa hiyo leseni mahali ambapo hapafai, hawa watu waondoke kazini leo na wapelekwe jela, kwa sababu hawa watu wanajua ya kwamba walikatazwa, waliambiwa wasipatiane hiyo leseni, lakini kwa hongo na ukora na mambo ya kukosa nidhamu wameenda wakaissue license. Now we have a problem in our hands. I want to say, for the avoidance of doubt, the fellows, the government officials who issued licenses for gas installations in residential areas when it was very clear that it was the wrong thing to do, but because of incompetence and corruption, they issued licenses. Today we have injuries, we have Kenyans who have died. Those fellows who are involved in this, the ministry must immediately take action against them, and they must be dismissed and they must be prosecuted for what the crimes they have committed.
The chairperson of the Budget Committee in the National Assembly, who also doubles up as the Member of Parliament for Kiharu constituency in Ndindi Nyoro, has assured Kenyans of his commitment to ensuring equity in the allocation of national resources without regards to political considerations. Speaking during the opening of the CDF-funded classrooms at Huisero Girls High School in Kakamega County, Nyoro reiterated the Kenyan government's stance on prioritizing equitable distribution of public resources. Huisore Member of Parliament Christopher Aseka expressed support for the government bills that benefit Kenyans, such as those related to healthcare. Women's Representative Elsie Mohanda urged the government to involve Kenyans before making tax decisions.
Budget yetu ya Kenya over or close to 20%, 700 billion tunaweka kwa elimu ya watoto wa Kenya, wenye wako primary, wenye wako secondary na pia wenye wako universities. Jambo la pili, wakulima. Tunaweka pesa katika ukulima kwa njia ya inputs. Fertilizer tunapeana subsidy katika budget, na tunapeana fertilizer tukienda mbele ile inaitwa crop specific. Kama ni mkulima wa mahindi anapewa fertilizer ya mahindi, mkulima wa pamba anapewa fertilizer ya pamba, so that we continue to make our productivity in agriculture higher. Jambo la tatu nikienda kumaliza, tunaangalia maneno ya kazi kwa vijana, na hiyo kazi ndio maana tunafanya housing project. Ndio maana kama Mheshimiwa Atwoli amehimiza sisi wote, kuna kazi mingi katika mtandao na serikali inafanya juhudi sana kufikishia hiyo huduma kwa vijana wetu,
ya kwamba mambo ya taxation na mambo ingine tunafanya public participation na hawa wananchi. Shikali kario, kwa maana nyinyi ndio kiatu inafanya nini, inauma. Tukienda namna hivyo tutaenda kwa njia mzuri.
KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli has hinted at former President Uhuru Kenyatta's hand in the current political standoff between the government and the opposition. While in Kakamega, Atwoli says plans to change the constitution in 2017 failed, and that would have tamed former president from influencing government's decision against the wishes of a sitting president.
Nikawambia nyinyi 2017, let us amend the constitution for the retiring young men in politics. Tusipopindua hii katiba, huyu Uhuru atasumbua sisi. I said, nafikiri Kenyans walisikia. When I said tubadilishe katiba, tuangalie president young akiretire, tumu-engage na tuweke kakulosi ya kwamba he cannot come back to politics. Watu wakasema, mimi nasema hivyo, labda mimi ni rafiki ya Uhuru, nataka tubadilishe katiba. Because our president retires with a lot of friends and with a lot of money. Sahi mtu anampa serikali ya Kenya kwanza kichwa ni huyo Uhuru Kenyatta. Huwezi kumuona. So what I said has come to pass. Na mnataka kuweka vitu vya ile, lazima muone mbele. Na ndindi mtu asikutishe. When you are above 18, you are on your own. Mtu asikuambia usiongea hapa, usifa. Say anything you think you can say. Say anything that you can think you can say. Say anything. Nasikia hiyo.
That's Mzee Atwoli right there. Now, National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah has expressed optimism that once they resume parliament, they will be able to quickly adapt the recommendations of bipartisan talks on the constitution of IEBC. He says because they engaged in a bipartisan process through the national dialogue to change the law in the reconstitution of IEBC, and he was positive that they will quickly adopt the report. Ichung'wah said that this will pave way for the enactment of a new law that will guide the process of recruitment of new commissioners under whichever model the parliament will agree on. Ichung'wah says it was their desire to have a new commissioner recruited as a matter of priority to avert a constitutional crisis as IEBC is supposed to begin and to complete boundaries delimitation by end of March.
We appreciate what the court has said, and I can't agree more with Justice Mugure Dhande, that indeed the law has no mechanism of stopping the IEBC recruitment panel. But also in the same light, the law does not limit the time that that panel would take. And because we engaged in a bipartisan process through the national dialogue to change the law in the reconstitution of IEBC, we are very optimistic that when we resume parliament, we should be able to quickly adopt the report in a bipartisan manner and be able to enact a new law that will guide the process for recruitment of IEBC, so that the new commission that will be recruited under whichever model that Parliament will agree on, we'll be able to recruit commissioners and be able to do even delimitation of boundaries and conduct by elections in the constituencies that are yet to be represented in Parliament, like Banisa.
Now, still at the same event, the Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah has insisted the housing levy is here to stay and saboteurs will not stop the government's plan to build decent houses for Kenyans. Despite a court order, Kenya Kwanza government has insisted the constructions will continue because there are funds that have already been channeled to the sector. Ichung'wah says the housing program has also offered jobs to thousands of youths, and scrapping it off will be denying employment opportunities to the people. At the same time, Member of Parliament Titus Hamala has urged President William Ruto to tighten corruption loopholes so as to avoid siphoning of public funds.
All those projects, as the President said yesterday, not a single contractor atatoka kwa site. Watakaa kwa site, waendelee, sababu zile pesa zilikuwa zimekusanywa bado ziko, even as we fight in court na wale saboteurs ambao wanataka kusitisha mradi wa housing. And because this program, we said, sio tu ya manyumba. Program ya housing is not just about houses or housing. It is about jobs. It is about employment. It is about these young ladies who will graduate from high school, go to universities, become architects and engineers, and where they will find jobs. It is about those who are in our TVET institutions, who will access job opportunities in manufacturing, in housing, and the manufacturing that will be driven by the housing agenda.
Mimi nauliza wale watu wanapinga huo mpango, wanataka wale kina mama na vijana ambao wamepata kazi huko waende wapi? Watawapa kazi wao wenyewe? Na mradi huu rais amefanya, manake anafikiria juu ya kesho ya watu wa Kenya. Manake anataka apange vijana wetu, kina mama wetu, na hapa Embu najua pia kuna mpango wa affordable housing ambao unaendelea. Ukienda pale utakuta ya kwamba kuna kina mama wanapata pesa pale ya kupeleka watoto shule, wanapata pesa ya kulisha familia zao, na kuna vijana pia wanaweza kujikimu kimaisha pale.
We will go through the pain, but let us make stealing of public funds a very, very terrible crime to commit in this country. Kama wa Kenya. Kwa hivyo wale wezi kwa county governments, wezi in the national government, the days ahead are terrible days. Hatuwezi kutoa taxes through the nose na nyinyi muwe hapo kazi yenu kusifon mkikula hizo taxes. We are going to make it hard even through laws in parliament.
The second autopsy of Kizito Moi, who was an employee of Dr. Boni Khalwale, was completed this Saturday, confirming that he died from injuries caused by the horns of a cow. This has been confirmed by Dr. Johansen Oduor, who performed a second autopsy on the body, which was in the Kakamega mortuary. According to Dr. Oduor, the deceased's death was caused by being injected with a blunt instrument believed to be of the bull's horn. Now, the deceased was supposed to be buried on Thursday this week, but the burial was stopped by businessman Cleophas Shimanyula wanting to confirm the cause of death. Shimanyula's representative at the surgery, who is Dr. James, seemed satisfied with the results. Now, Khalwale, speaking after the exercise, has revealed that their goal is to ensure that the body is buried on Monday.
The autopsy was performed by the local pathologist, Dr. Mchana. However, there were some complaints which led to us being called here to do a repeat. So I'll go straight to my findings. What I found is that the late Kizito had injuries. One injury was on the forehead on the right side. There was one on the anterior neck and on the inner thigh of the left leg. Looking at his injuries, they were penetrating, and they also had some features which included some bruising around them. And to look at them closely, they look like injuries which are caused by something which was penetrating but was not very sharp, was a bit blunt, which is in keeping with a horn of an animal. So from all these findings, we can conclude that indeed the initial autopsy was correct.
Local pathologist here I want to thank the team of investigators at the region, in the county, and in Malinya. And I want to thank the homicide squad from Nairobi that was led by the director himself for giving this matter the seriousness it deserves. I'm glad that Dr. Odwor, the government pathologist, has now announced a closure. And with this, I would like, as I pass my condolences to the family, my community, and the bullfighting fraternity, that we shall move the remains of Moi tomorrow morning in the usual manner, and we shall bury him on Monday at home.
I was representing the complainants, the people who had alleged that there was some sort of foul play. But indeed, I have attended the postmortem, I've written my report, and I concur with what Dr. Johansen Tonodor has stated. It is as he has stated.
Kwa upande wangu mimi kama ndugu ya marehemu, ningechua mtu mwenyewe, sijachua mtu mwenyewe, serikali bado hajakuambia mtu mwenyewe, lakini naomba serikali kusaidia kwa sababu ile karama ambayo yenye tulikuwa program bila tulikuwa tumeanzisha, program imechelewa, tumetumikia pesa nyingi na bado tunaendelea kutumikia pesa nyingi.
Now, Public Service, Performance and Delivery Management Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria has called for the absorption of NYS recruits into the disciplined forces. In a recruitment exercise briefing with NYS officials, the CS reiterated the need to adhere to a transparent and verifiable process while urging NYS graduates to be responsible citizens and avoid substance abuse and engaging in illegalities.
Every recruitment starting from this year to the Kenya Defence Forces will be drawn from the men and women whom we are just about to go and recruit. I repeat, 80% of the Kenya Defence Forces will be drawn from the National Youth Service. 80% of the National Police Service, all its formation, GSU, AP, all of them, will be coming from the National Youth Service. It's a very youthful population, and we cannot joke with this issue. It is a blessing and an opportunity, because if you look at the global north, they have exactly the different opposite problem, where they have an aging population and they need a lot of people to work. Unlikely events that you slip through the dragnet of our watchful agencies, Mungu anakungojea, and your date is drawn. So consider yourself, ladies and gentlemen, to be very privileged to be sitting here today.
The multi-billion shillings Lower Nzoia irrigation project will address at least 20% of the rice deficit in the country. According to the Principal Secretary for Irrigation, Ephantus Kimotho, the project aims at addressing 20% of the over 700,000 metric tons that Kenya has been importing. He revealed that the project will help in producing additional 140,000 metric tons of rice for the country once completed. The PS further disclosed that under their rice deficit plan, they also intend to increase the rice production in the coastal region, where they also plan to put 25,000 acres into rice production at Bura irrigation scheme. He made the remarks when he flanked the CS for Water and Irrigation, Zachary Anjeru, in the tour of Bunyala irrigation scheme, where the CS assured rice farmers in Busia County that they shall start benefiting from the Lower Nzoia irrigation project from next month.
We import a lot of rice from outside. Therefore, if we empower our farmers, then it will mean that import will reduce. So we want to encourage our farmers. Let's all know this. We are working together between the national government, the county government, and the farmers. So the farmers should use the best practice so that we can get the best from this scheme.
As the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, we have a rice deficit plan. As you all know, currently we are importing over 700,000 metric tons. In this particular project, The aim of this project is to make sure we at least address 20% of that deficit. That is 140,000 metric tons by the time the whole project is done. Currently, the project, as the CS has just said, will, by end of the month, we'll be able to put 3,000 acres into production, and in the next 1.5 years, we'll be able to put another 7,000 into production, bringing total production to 10,000.
Strengthening their cooperatives. We have come up with a cooperative fund whereby the farmers will be able to access government credits at completely friendly, because food everywhere in the world is supported by government. And this is what we are doing. And in collaboration, of course, with the national government, the way we are talking here, we do not only want to make Busia one of the biggest rice-producing areas, but we also want to be food-reliant, and we want money to go directly to the farmers.
As our priority, that we have a problem with the menace of birds, where people they sometimes lose crops because of birds. If they could, this scheme is big. If they could just station one chopper here, or a plane, small plane, to be spraying specific days, that will also help our people to earn more.
In what is a clear signal that Kenya's cruise ship tourism has rebounded, another vessel carrying 2,500 passengers and 1,000 crew members has docked at the port of Mombasa this morning. The vessel is on a world tour, and Tourism and Wildlife Cabinet Secretary Dr. Alfred Mutua led a team of government officials and stakeholders in welcoming the guests. While addressing the media, Mutua said cruise ship tourism plays a pivotal role in boosting the economy of coastal nations, and Kenya is no exception. The arrival of the ship brings to 4 the number of such vessels that have docked in Kenya since November last year. So far, Kenya has posted 8,500 tourist arrivals since the commencement of cruise season in the last 3 months.
As a country, we're very pleased because today we have 3,500 people who are in this ship, who are visiting our country, Kenya. And they are coming and they are spending money over here. Majority will be here in Mombasa, but some have already left to other parts of the country. Early this morning, about 70 have already jetted off to Masai Mara National Park, and that visit alone to Masai Mara National Park, just for the next few hours, they'll be leaving behind 23 million Kenya shillings, just for those few hours in Kenya. You find there are others going to Amboseli, others going to Savo, and others. So this visit by itself, when we did our calculation, is giving us 50 million shillings very quickly in a very, very short time. Last year, we received about 3,123 people who came by ship. That is 2023. This year, 2 months alone, we already surpassed 5,000. That means there's a new growth and there's new interest in.
I have directed the relevant departments to ensure as well that all the tourists who are going to be within Mombasa, there's not only just ample security, but any kind of assistance that is required, we will be able to provide it for you as a government, and we hope that everyone who comes on board can be able to sell the narrative of Mombasa to others.
Residents of Gatanga constituency have rejected proposals by Gatanga Water and Sanitation Company Gatawasco to raise water tariffs. The company has written to Water Services Regulatory Board seeking to raise its water charges in a bid to raise money to expand its infrastructure. The company proposes that charges for 0 to 6 units of water be charged 120 shillings, up from 33 shillings per unit. Domestic consumers who use between 7 to 20 units of water currently pay 50 shillings a unit and will be required to pay 135 shillings should the new charges be adopted. Charges for 21 to 50 units will rise from 65 bob to 150 bob. 51 to 100 units will increase from 80 shillings to 165 per unit, while 100 to 300 units will be charged 180 shillings from 100 shillings per unit, while over 300 units of water will be charged 190 shillings from 130 per unit. The charges will also apply to multi-dwelling and commercial premises.
We are pleading with WASLAB not to give in to the demands or the request by Gatanga Water Company, kwa sababu hiyo ni kitu ambayo ita reduce in a very big way the percentage in terms of coverage ya vile Gatanga Water wamekuwa wakisema wako 70% coverage in the area. Tunaona irudi pale 20-30%, kwa sababu watu wengi hawataweza kulipa ile gharama ama ile bei ya maji. Nikiguzia kidogo, sisi tuko na ombi mbili ama tatu. Ombi la kwanza, tungetaka WASLEB hiyo proposal waishelf until the public is widely consulted, kwa sababu hawa watu wa Gatanga Water hawajafanya public participation. Wananchi hawajaitwa mahali isemekane tunataka kuongeza maji kwa njia hii, wakubali au wakatae.
Watupe bills zenye ziko chini, tunaweza lipa sisi wenyewe, kwa sababu wakitupandishia bills za maji sisi wenyewe tutashindwa kulipa, kwa sababu kwa saa hii uchumi iko juu sana, na wengine huku wengi wetu ni watu wa vibarua. Itabidi warudi kwa visiwa kuchota maji, kwa sababu hakuna venye maybe niongezwe mshahara mimi mwenyewe kwenye mimi nafanya, but juu ile mshahara tu yenye napewa ndio iko, mimi sitaweza kulipa maji. Hiyo haiwezekani.
Hii maji wanasema waongeze ni bara, hii ni disaster sasa wanaanza, kwa sababu kama mtu anashindwa kulipa hiyo 250 ikiongezwa ataweza. Haya, tuko na akina mama wazee. Wengi wetu hapa tunaangalia akina mama wazee. Maji tutatoa wapi? Hao wamama waliachwa na watoto wao walienda kuhasura, si ndio? Si walienda kuhasura. Sio lazima wawe na watoto huko nyumbani. Sasa hao akina mama wataendewa na nani maji mtoni? Tuseme wasiongeze maji, kwa sababu wakiongeza hii maji sasa wametumaliza.
After highlighting some of the areas facing communication challenges in the country, residents may finally get relief after the government, through the Ministry of Communication and Technology, dived into the issue of improving communication. In Bungoma County, for instance, residents from Mount Elgon constituency have been struggling a lot. Speaking after a meeting with various stakeholders in the county, the Administrative Secretary in the Communications Authority under the Ministry of ICT, Eric Kiraithe, has said that every Kenyan has the right to get better communication, and they will ensure that every corner of Kenya gets better services.
I want to appreciate that kind of commitment that government agencies can come to have what we call follow-up on the services that they are giving to the people. We appreciate your work. Most of our areas we are able to communicate, apart from few areas, especially in Mount Elgon. We have had a meeting together and we have expressed our concerns.
Kwa sababu kuna muradi ya kufikisha mawasiliano katika kila mwananchi pahali anapoishi. Kwanza ni haki ya kikatiba, pili ni manifesto ya serikali ya Kenya Kwanza, kuhakikisha kwamba huduma za serikali ambazo ziko online na zote zinafaa kuja online, huduma za wananchi, kwamba zimemfikia mwananchi yeyote pahali anapoishi, ndiposa aweze kujiendeleza na kufurahia haki ya kuwa Mkenya. Mainly the mission here is about universal access to ICT on the part of communication, mawasiliano. And the Communication Authority is the one charged and mandated by law to ensure that every citizen where they live is able to be reached.
Mombasa County Government has received a biopsy machine which will improve the health facility in terms of service delivery to its residents. Residents have yet another reason to smile as they launched the critical medical equipment at the Coast General Teaching and Referral Hospital's Cancer Treatment Center. The equipment will go a long way in treating patients with prostatic complaints through minimally invasive means, as well as assisting doctors in undertaking guided biopsies to yield more reliable test results in the treatment of cancer. Speaking during the handover of the machine at the General Hospital Cancer Center, Abdul Samad Nasir, who's the governor, says the gesture shown by the AstraZeneca team will indeed save lives of many people at the facility. The equipment, which cost 16.5 million shillings, was donated by the AstraZeneca and Mediglobe Solutions.
I want to say a big thank you for this partnership. This is not a mean achievement. Mashini hii katika Mombasa, ile iliyoko pale, ya mawe, hamna hospitali nyingine katika Mombasa ambapo kwamba iko na mashini kama hii. Kando ya kuwa ni public hospital, hospitali ambapo kwamba ni ya umma na hospitali ambapo kwamba ni ya binafsi, sisi tumeongoza. Na gharama yake itakuwa ni chini zaidi kuliko gharama ya kuweza kulifanya hili jambo katika hospitali nyingine.
We're very privileged to be part of this public-private partnership. I think it's all about the ecosystem building capacity capability by bringing screening and diagnostics where it matters. And I think it's very much that we are partnering with National Cancer Institute, CAUS, and many other public-private institutes to help us screen, diagnose prostate cancer early, because 60% of patients, when they reach referral center, is quite in the late stage. And by just a simple mechanism of bringing this machine to the urology center or department where it matters, I think will be a big move.
I can say great, honorable, auspicious day for us at CGTRH, because we at CGTRH are going to the next level of technology and the next level of care. And when we say technology, we are going to the next level, Your Excellency. We are going leaps and bounds.
I know you've done that, but I'm pretty sure that you've not understood what I've said. What I'm saying is, I want to thank my governor for being so good that made you people to see he's a good governor, and that is the reason why you decided to support his government with those very important machines.
A 41st minute goal from Ademola Lookman